people, but he's going to kind of wrap it up for you guys and let y'all know what they learned. So Shelton, now it's yours.
So I want to thank all the people that contributed to this part. So I want to thank Cheryl. She did a lot of the PowerPoints. Amanda, who stepped in, I think it was 2 or 3 summits ago. She just volunteered the time, which was really cool. So thank Amanda for Africa. Tiffany did Asia, and Lorena did Europe. So I'll just try to go through these slides as quickly as possible. So the goal of this was presenting nature to the kids from around the world. So the first night we did the Caribbean, then we did Africa, then we did Asia, then we did Europe, and lastly we did South America. So I'll just share this with you guys pretty quickly. So the text that we use, and we can all read this. How many are your works, Lord? In wisdom you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. The sea, the vast and spacious, teeming with creatures beyond numbers, living things both large and small. Right, so that was the text that we used. So what we did is we went through the different, well, for the Caribbean, what we did, we tried to get as much, because Caribbean people, they don't like to share too much, so I try to get everybody in there. Because I'm from the better islands, and some other people sometimes think that the other islands are better. So I just wanted to share the love with these. So we started off with Jamaica, and this is the Jamaica Dr. Bird. That's their, one of the birds there, I think that's their national bird. Yes. So we started with that, and that's how it looks. Okay, this bird is taken, this is one from Tobago. So this one is called the coquelicot. We have 2 national birds. This is one of them, and then we have the scarlet ibis. That's the next one that we're going to look at. So I'll just give you guys a sample. So another thing we did, we played the songs, or the songs that some of these birds made, we played them. Okay, that's how it looks. Okay, David, if you could do this. Oh, you need to hear this song. We have to hear this song. Okay, can you get it?
No, it's not working.
It is hard. Okay, one second.
Is it connecting? No, but is it here? Yeah, it is. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, it's not working. That's fine. We'll just move forward. If it works, then it works. Okay, just bring back up the PowerPoint, please. Okay, so this one is the scarlet ibis. That's the second national bird of Trinidad and Tobago. Kids, why is this bird this color? Okay, say it.
Each shred
in each trend. So it lives in the swamp, and it's that color because of the right, that's the song that I'm going to next. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay, so that's the scarlet ibis. And then we move forward and a little faster. Okay, this flower is from Haiti. And this flower has a lot of medicinal value. This is a national flower from Haiti. It's the Haitian hibiscus. So you see it's pretty, it looks pretty. Next, this is the national flower for Cuba. So we put some Cuba in there also. Then this is a waterfall that is found in Puerto Rico. Then this is a volcano in Montserrat. And this volcano erupted in 1995. And as a result of that, not very many people live on the island. Okay, this is found in the Bahamas. Okay, this pool, I don't want to be biased to Tobago, but I have to talk about this pool. Okay, this pool is called Nylon Pool. So what happened with Nylon Pool is that it's surrounded by a reef called Bucca Reef. And you could go way out into the ocean, and there is a pool in the middle of the ocean that's knee-high. So a lot of tourists go to that. So I'm just making a plug for Tobago. So if you're looking for vacation places, you can always go to Tobago. Okay. Okay, and this is Bucca Reef. There's a lot of different types of fishes that could be found in it, and a lot of nice corals. Okay, and this is Jamaica. This Downs River Falls. This is found in Jamaica. A lot of tourists visit this site. Okay. Okay, so Amanda did Africa because Amanda visited Africa about 8 years ago. So these are some of the animals and the pictures. So we saw a giraffe, we saw lions, we saw tigers, we saw crocodiles, we saw... And one unique thing that Amanda said about the giraffe is that when the baby is born, how far does the baby fall?
About 6 feet.
About 6 feet. About 6 feet. And I think within about 24 hours, it has to be able to walk. Because if it doesn't walk, what happens? It becomes food for somebody else. So thank God that when we were born, we didn't have to start walking immediately. Okay, that's the hyena, and it goes on. Okay, go back to the PowerPoint, please. Next, we did Asia, and Tiffany did Asia, and then she also went on a mission trip a couple of years ago, and she showed that. So I'll just give you a brief, so some of the birds that were found there. This is one from the Philippines. This is one from Indonesia. Okay, this is from Thailand. What is this called, guys? What is it called? Tapir. Right, you see, it has different colors. God is just a God of creativity and diversity. So what does this look like? It looks like an anteater. What does it look like? Okay, and we showed a picture of the cobra. This is an Indian cobra. We'd like to show you the YouTube for this one. This one is unique. It's pretty cool. But you see this? You see the mark on the back of it? Okay. I guess didn't want to get us some from Tobago. That's fine. We understand. Okay, this is a camel. Okay, this is a Hong Kong orchid. See how pretty this is? This one is from Japan. And this is the Japanese natural garden during autumn. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. That's Mount Fuji, Japan. Okay, this is a bamboo forest that's found in Japan. And this is found in China. And this is also found in China. That's like a stone forest. Okay, and these are some of Tiffany's pictures. That's, I think, when her mom and her dad came to visit her when she was in Korea. Okay, that's her taking her dad to the market. That is actually an octopus. Okay, this is a pig's head that they use for luck. And you see, we look at pigs as, but other people. And, okay guys, the reason why I'm showing some of these, our team for VBS was being tolerant of other people. Right? Not because someone is doing something that may not be in the Bible or whatever the case may be, that we're always scorning other people, right? Other people may do stuff and God expects us to share His word with everyone, right? Because I think we're living in a world where there's too much biases and too much prejudices, so this was a VBS of trying to show us that there is diversity in the world. Okay, this we wouldn't be eating this at all. Tiffany said this is actually eagles. So they skin these and they eat it. We don't eat these, right? Boys and girls know we don't eat these. So certain countries, when you go to them, be careful of what you eat. Well, I wouldn't be eating them. Yeah. Carry your own food. Okay, this was actually a restaurant. Tiffany said this was in which country? South Korea, Checheno. But this is an expensive restaurant. So when we normally think of restaurants, we normally think of a nice building or whatever the case may be. This is an expensive restaurant in Checheno. It's stones and this is the woman in the kitchen. Wait 1 second. Okay, that's the woman in the kitchen. That's the kitchen. So the kitchen is between the rocks and between whatever else is there. But everyone is healthy that eats it. Okay, this is when Tiffany visited the Great Wall of China. No? Oh, sorry, that's Sunrise Park. Sunrise Park, I'm sorry. The Great Wall is coming. Okay, that seaweed, they actually collect it out of the ocean and they dry it and then they sell it and sometimes we may be eating that seaweed. Okay, that was some celebration for Buddha. Okay, that's Tiffany dressed up in Chinese traditional wear. Okay, that's the Great Wall. And then she visited the park where she saw a panda. Okay, I think I need to move a little faster now. Okay, then we did Europe and Lorena did this one. So this is a plant from Europe. These are the different fruits and vegetables found in Europe. Look at this. This is the national flower for Holland. Look at how pretty that is. Okay, this is a bear. Okay, what is this, boys and girls? Bobcat. A lynx. Okay, this is the Alps in Europe. Okay, look at this. Isn't God great? this is the entrance to this cave, and look at the inside. Look at this. Okay, this is the last set that we're going to be looking at. This is a sloth. Make sure you say the TH, please. Okay, that's it, looking closer up. Okay, let's play this song here. Okay, this is a llama. Yeah, let's play this video. And these come in many different colors. Okay, that's the sound that the llama makes. Okay. What is this one? Capybara? Chinchilla. Yeah, these makes a nice sound. You can play this one too. Okay, this is a red-eyed tree frog. Tortoise. Yeah, tortoise. Okay, did you guys know that there were actually penguins found in South America? How many of you knew that? Yes, there are actually penguins found in South America. These are the second largest type of penguin. They are found in Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, and Peru. This bird is pretty big. How big is a wingspan? How big do you think that wingspan is? A little bit more. 10 feet. The wingspan is 10 feet. Okay, this guy. Tell me what sound you think it makes. Okay, then listen carefully though. That's a pretty unique sound. Okay, it's a monkey. We're almost done. This is pretty nice. These are the different butterflies that are found in South America. Okay, these are some orchids. Look at this guy. What do you see here? And that is not photoshopped. They're actually monkey orchids. And there are different types of them. That I didn't know. I learned a lot this about that. Okay, this is the sacred flower of the Incas. This is actually like a salt. All of this is salt. I've just seen here. All of this is salt. And then when it rains, this is the water, and you can actually see the reflection of the sky and also the reflection of the man. The desert. It's a glacier. There's a nice beach. Okay, so what was the goal of this? God is creator of this universe. That's the one thing that we recognize. We didn't come from what scientists are saying, or what most scientists are saying we came from. If you look at these flowers, if you look at the birds, if you look at the different plants, we were all designed in a unique way. So that's the goal. Around the world, there are different things that we can see. No country is better than any country. So God expects all of us to be a loving people. Because when we get to heaven, just think of this. This is the world with sin. What would the world be like without sin? Thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope boys and girls learned a lot from around the world in terms of nature. Thank you.
All right, and next we're going to learn about all the crafts that the kids got to do this week, and for that we have Miss Jolene. So Miss Jolene, if you are here, we would like you to come on up and just let everyone know all the fun things that the kids got to do with their crafts.
I stand down here with you guys. So kids, some of you that were here this week, I asked you all to come up and help me. Do you think you guys can come on up to give me a hand?
No.
So as Shelton said, this week we went around the world with the crafts. Okay, so this week we went around the world as well. So the first night we started with the Caribbean. So can I get the two people that have the beaches to come up here? Okay, so this night, on Monday night, we learned about the Caribbean. And as Shelton said, the islands all vary very differently in the type of nature and the type of things that they show. So we decided to take one aspect that they all tend to share. They all have beautiful beaches. So, with the help of my parents, who let me borrow some of our nice big coral pieces, all the kids got to see some of the beautiful shells and corals that we would use and that you would see in the ocean. So, can I get Christian? Come here for a minute. What was one of the types of corals that we saw? What was special about the red rock? Do you remember the red rock that we saw? So, come here, Jimmy. What was the red rock called?
Lava rock?
And what was special about the lava rock?
It is made by lava.
It was made when a volcano would erupt and the lava would run into the ocean. So, guys, go ahead and sit down until I call the one that you're holding, okay? So, we learned about all the different corals and things that they would have seen in the ocean and how the fish would use it, right? Because did the fish just look at the corals? Come here, you gotta stay next to me. Go see mommy. Sorry, I have a little shadow. The kids that came this week know that the nights that he came, he was my shadow helper. He was very good at standing and helping and watching. So we learned that the fish don't just swim through the corals. The fish also live in the corals and they live in the shells. So girls, if you would like to go down the aisle so people can see, we took our jars and the kids drew backgrounds to put in the back to show the beach, and then they each got to pick 3 special shells that are real shells that have been collected from beaches as we were growing up. So they all got special shells. So the second night, we went to Africa. And as Miss Amanda talked to them about, there is a lot of beautiful animals in Africa, right guys? So what we did, we made safari sunsets. So can I get you guys that have the Africa paintings to come up here for me? Come on up. So our kids made African sunsets, and they took watercolor pencils and they made beautiful sunsets and then picked their animals and painted some animals on there to kind of emphasize all the wonderful animals that you find across Africa. Each night we talked about all the different countries that you might find in that continent. So what were some of the countries we found in Africa, guys? Who has a country from Africa? Rihanna. Egypt, Zimbabwe. We talked about Kenya. There were so many different countries in Africa. And each night while they did their crafts, they got to listen to little samples of music from those areas. So if you guys want to walk down and show them the neat sunsets that we did. And here comes the helper with them as well. After Africa, we went to Asia. So can I have some people bring up the origami for me? Okay, I need someone to bring those up. Can I have some helpers with the origamis? So we did origami, which is a paper folding craft, commonly done in Asia. And we learned a special story that went along with the folding from Japan. How many of you have seen or heard of folding a paper crane, like Miss Chloe has here? Has anybody heard of folding a paper crane? Has anybody heard the story with the paper crane? Well, the kids got to learn the story this year. They were told, and in Japan, if you were really sick, they believed that if you folded 1,000 paper cranes all by yourself, that you would get better. Now, we know that's a superstition, but don't you think, as we explained to the kids, if you were feeling so sick and you were stuck in a hospital bed, do you think if you were so focused on folding 1,000 of these paper cranes that maybe you would be distracted by how sick you were? And you wouldn't really think about how sick you were, so maybe in your mind you would think you felt a little bit better, being that it was giving them something to do. We had a couple of girls that were helping us, Anna and Emily, said that them and a few friends tried to fold 1,000 cranes, and they got to about 700? Somewhere around 700, and that was with several of them helping each other. And that took a while just to get there. So it takes a long time to fold these. But my kindergarten age got to make wallets, and they got to make these dogs. The older kids tried their hands at making a cup and making a paper crane, and that was kind of tricky, but man, did they stick in there, and they tried hard. So if you guys want to go down and show them their origamis. Okay. After the paper cranes and after Asia, we went on to Europe. Now you guys know Europe is so vast. There are so many different things that you could look out there. But one thing that Miss Lisette and I discovered was Europe uses amazing amounts of wind power. And I don't have a windmill here, but our kindergarten class made windmills out of paper cups. And they took paper cups and they made cute little windmills. Our older kids learned a little more about the artist that we have come out of Europe. So can I get my two kids with the jars to come up here? They learned a little bit about the art that comes out of Europe. Okay, who were some of the artists we learned about? Do you guys remember? Van Gogh, Monet. We learned about Monet a little bit. And so we did something a little different. It was kind of tricky, but man, did the kids hang in there again. We painted, and they learned some new little painting techniques, and they did grapes and leaves and butterflies on these pretty jars that they were able to take home. So if you guys want to go down and show them. And then for our last night, we went to South America. Once again, a very diverse country. But Miss Lisette found something that was so cool out of Peru. Panama. Like I said, very diverse, lots of countries. So out of Panama comes these molas. Now molas, if you guys want to come on up that have the molas, you take one small shape of an animal, you cut it out of a piece of paper. Then you cut it again a little bit larger from another color, and then a little larger from a third color. So they've got 3 layers of animals here. Then you just take paper, and just like you would with scrapbooking, where they tell you to fill in all the spaces, they filled in the spaces with more geometric shapes. The kids had so much fun with this. This was letting them get their creativity going, and this just let them see how much fun you can have. You don't have to have a lot of money to do these crafts. You don't have to have a whole bunch of fancy paints and supplies. All this was paper and glue. And the kids had so much fun, and they did beautiful things. Some of them decorated their animals, like these 2 on the end. Some of them made scenes. How she made a pretty, you can see the turtle in the water. Okay. Some were just shapes, just filling in around the bird, like this one. They just kept the shape of the bird and kept going around it with more shapes. So if you guys want to go down and show them. But all throughout, we kept talking to the kids about all the different countries that are within these continents, how different all of them could be, especially when we were talking about Europe. You know, we learned, you know, you've got everything in Europe. You've got Romania, you've got England, you've got all these different places. You've got Germany and Holland. And it's so cool how different all these different countries are. But yeah, how everybody has something similar to us. Everybody likes to do crafts. Everybody likes to make stuff. You know, and that was the point of our VBS this week. Around the world with Jesus. Jesus embraces everybody. Everything that makes us different makes us unique and makes us special to God. So we need to embrace the differences and have fun learning about other people so that way we can embrace them just like Jesus is.
Charge of the games for VBS this week, and boy, those were a fun bunch of kids to play games with. And right now I'd like to ask a couple people to come up here. Will Andrew and Noah come up here? Thank you. These were 2 of the older kids we had here at Vacation Bible School, but they looked like they were having a lot of fun at the games this week. What was your favorite part, Noah? All of them? You really enjoyed all of them? I guess I picked good games. Tyler, did you like them? Andrew? What was your favorite?
I'm going to say the Monday night, the handball.
How did we play handball?
It was a lot like kickball, except you're basically just, there's no one like pitching the ball to you, you're just hitting with your hand.
Right. Yeah, kind of like baseball or kickball where they hit the ball with their hand and then they run around the bases. That was definitely a lot of fun. And then on the second night, which was Africa, we played a game similar to Duck, Duck, Goose that they play in Africa, except the person that goes around and, you know, says duck, 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 they don't do that. That person carries a handkerchief, and they walk around behind them, and they're supposed to secretly drop a handkerchief behind one person. And that person is supposed to look around if he thinks that they dropped it. And if he does, then they chase him around the circle the same way as they do in Duck, Duck, Goose. Everybody had lots of fun with that. And then the next day was Asia. And we played a game from China called Catch the Dragon's Tail. Can you tell us a little bit about that game, Noah? grab the tail off the back of each dragon, which was 3 people with their hands on their shoulders, and they couldn't come apart. And so the next day was Europe. And that day we played statue tag, which was similar to red light, green light, but there was one person that stands with their back towards all the runners, and when they have their back towards them, everybody runs. But then once they turn around, everybody has to stop in their tracks and go right back. And that was exciting to see. And the last day, what country was the last day?
Asia? South America.
South America. And for South America, what game did we do?
So we did, it was a potato sack race, but we didn't have sacks, so we tied our legs together and had to hop from one point to another point for the race. And then we also did the type where you would tie your leg to your partner's leg, and then you would do a race like that.
A 3-legged race. And Noah, in that 3-legged race, who was your partner? Andrew. Did you all do very well? Did you ever fall over? You did? Yeah, it was pretty easy. It was a lot of fun to watch them do the 3-legged race, though. That was one of the highlights of my week. But yeah, we definitely had a great time. All the kids getting all their energy out, and they sure had a lot of it. But we had a lot of fun, and we're ready to do it again next year. You can go back and take a minute.
We also don't want to forget about all the yummy food and snacks that the kids got to have this week. We want to thank everybody involved with the snacks. The kids had a blast, and all the snacks represented different parts of the world, so that was a lot of fun. So thank you to everybody that played a role in that. Another thing that we did during VBS was the Bible stories. So we took each day and spoke about a different story in the Bible. And kiddos, for this part, I want you to help me out. So what was day 1? What Bible story did we learn about? Yes, you can say it. Peter and the unclean animals. That's right. And the memory verse for that said, "Then Peter began to speak. I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts men from every nation Did God like that? Absolutely not. He did not like that. And he said, hey, Miriam, Moses, Aaron, get over here right now. I need to talk to you. And he talked to them and he told them, I do not appreciate that. I do not appreciate how you were talking ugly about Moses and Zipporah, right? And that, Miriam learned a big lesson with that one. What had happened? She had to go out of the camp, right? Because of her leprosy. But was God merciful? Yes. He was. He was merciful and he healed her. But that teaches us, boys and girls, something very important. Should we make fun of others? No. Because they're different? Because they talk or look different than us? No. Should we be jealous of other people? No. And the other thing we have to remember is that little thing. Remember I told you guys? The tongue. We all have one. And we have to be careful how we use it. Right? We need to remember that we have a gift, we have a tongue, and we can use it to glorify God and make others feel special and be kind to others. But we don't want to use it for bad, right? So we have to ask God to help us each day to use our tongue for good. All right. What else? Day number 3. You guys are doing really good. What have we learned day number 3?
The Good Samaritan.
The Good Samaritan. We all should know this story, don't we? Should we? Maybe. Okay. So the Good Samaritan, what happened in the story of the Good Samaritan? There was a man who was traveling, and he was going from Jerusalem to Jericho in a great part of town. Oh. He was traveling down, this path was known to be a very dangerous one, right? And during that little travel time that he had, something happened to him. He got hurt, right? There were thieves and bad people that hurt him and left him what? Happy? Almost dead. On the ground, dying, right? And who came along? Who was the first person that came along the way? The first person that came?
The priest.
The priest. The priest came and said, oh, who do we have here? I don't have time for this right now, right? And he left the poor man dying on the ground. Didn't even try to help him. Oh man, poor man, here he is. Needs help. Somebody number 2. Who was that somebody number 2 that came along?
The Levite.
The Levite. Boy, you guys are doing really good. The Levite came. Did the Levite help the poor man?
No.
No, he said, I don't know what this is. I can't. I just can't right now. I have to be at church, and I am going to be late for the service, and I don't have time to help this poor man. Right? Something like that. But then came somebody different. Somebody that was not liked very much by the Jewish people. What was that man's name? The Samaritan. Now, what did he do differently than the other guys?
He helped him.
He helped him. Yes, he had compassion. His heart was moved. He was kind and showed kindness to the man. Did he not? We know that he took him where? Where did he take him? Right. Took him to like a motel, right, and said, hey, I need you to take care of him, and provided everything. And you know, boys and girls, that story teaches us to do what? Well, how should we be with other people? Help them. Be what? Be kind, right? Be kind. And we should always step up and be different. And it doesn't matter if that person on the ground is what? Different than us. It doesn't matter, right? Because God loves them as much as he loves you. And we have to be Jesus's what? Hands and his feet wherever we go. Got it? Yes. All right. What about day number 4? What did we learn? You guys are remembering, but this one, huh?
Paul.
Very good, Paul. What did we learn about Paul? Paul was who before?
He was
Saul. And was Saul a good guy?
no.
No, Saul was not a very good guy. He wasn't, right? He persecuted Christians. He did a lot of ugly things to the Christian people. But he became a good man, right? He became Paul. And Paul went with a man named Barnabas, right? And he went with Barnabas on his first missionary journey. Remember? And what happened during that missionary journey? What happened? He preached, right? He preached. He preached to the Jewish people in what we call what? Where are we today?
Synagogue.
A synagogue, right? Like a preach again. Did Paul say no? No, he didn't. He said, absolutely, I will preach again. Let's preach next week. I'll be there. And guess what happened? What, you guys remember when Paul got to church and he started preaching like today here? Who came out? Remember I told you guys? The entire city. Remember we said, imagine Winston-Salem coming into this church today to hear. Where would they fit them? But they did. They came and they listened to the preaching, and a lot of people were touched, right? But you know, boys and girls, did Paul say, I'm not going to preach to them because they are different? No. They are not Jewish. No, sir. No. They don't deserve Jesus. No. That's for us in here. That's not what he did he? Why did he not do that? Because who? Because everybody's included. And Jesus died for who? For us? For me? For everyone. Everyone. Does everybody hear that? Jesus died on that cross. Not for me, not for Christopher, not for Mason. He died for everyone, not just one person. For all of us. And we all deserve to know about the love and the grace of Jesus. Do we not? Yes, right? minister to all